when Afghanistan happened, he went under 40, she went under 40, and they really lived there until the end of the He's still there.
Why?
Look, I'll tell you why.
Because he ran and told us that the adults were back in charge, and that was the opposite.
Yeah, they
of
were
that.
because Donald Trump was a child.
And you know what else?
Yeah.
And you know what else? The fact that they wouldn't give these 13 service members' families the time of
bullshit,
day.
Dude.
Time of day.
I'm sorry, but Donald Trump hates veterans. He called them suckers and losers. He did. He absolutely, despite he has his whole life. He has his entire life.
I know you're super emotional. I just.
Of course I am. I'm terrified.
I'm telling you, the political reality is that when they made that decision.
It doesn't matter, but you don't admit that Donald Trump hates veterans. You don't admit it. You deny a man, Chief John Kelly, a Marine. You say he lied.
You're still campaigning.
You say he lied.
It's
not over. It'll never be over.
I want to hear what Cole
It'll never be over. You wish.
Right. This is a classic CNN narrative that Donald Trump might send the U.S. military into blue states if the governors don't follow his lead. I mean, did you guys hear that? This guy has just gone completely, in my personal opinion, nuts. The idea that Trump would send the military into states to make them behave is pretty intense, in my personal opinion. I mean, they are talking about getting Gavin Newsom under control and using the military to suppress protesters from the Black Lives Matter era. This guy is just saying things out of his imagination, but it's definitely not real. And there's a question about whether Trump would use the military to set up coups in state capitals he didn't win. Just by thinking about that doesn't even make sense in America. This really seems like, I'll say, a bit of an exaggeration if you think about it. It's important to be precise here. The military can work with the local officials and National Guard, but it's not typical for it to be used for domestic law enforcement. It's against the U.S. Constitution. I'm not an American, but I think that should be the case. And this is something to keep in mind as we analyze these claims here. Watching these videos sometimes, yeah, it's fun, but sometimes they spew some things that many people might take seriously. So we have to debunk them. Excuse me.
Describing sort of the past remain in Mexico, all of these sort of programs.
But again, Mexico has actually put a lot more border security on its southern border.
It's really working wonders. It's just crazy.
Again, border crossings are down 75%. They're back to what they were under Trump.
If I were her, I would be prepared for my country to possibly have United States military incursions to take out the drug factories and the people who do this to us.
So you think we should not only have a trade war,
Yes.
we should have a military war with Mexico?
I think we have to do what we have to do to stop.
I'm glad we all
drugs.
agree we should be de-escalating.
I think
It sounds like Remember the Alamo. I mean, it sounds
For
crazy.
like people who are dying in Kentucky,
not only
it
are we going to send the military on people who are here in the United States, we're now going to send the military over the border to attack Mexico.
No, I think
it's Americans who are bringing the drugs.
I think there are
the drugs coming
strategic
in
ways to
are
use the
from
United
Americans.
States military to control immigration here and drugs there. And Mexico needs to pay attention to this man and work with us or face the consequences.
So the platforms are not regulated right now, which gives them carte blanche to whatever they want right now. Elon is not someone who likes to be regulated. And so to buy MSN, he would go under some federal regulations.
Who's regulating CNN right now?
The FCC.
We're not a broadcast. It's cable.
I mean, I don't really think cable stations are under the same regulatory structure
that public airways.
that broadcast is.
It's definitely regulated more than than Facebook and
there's
Twitter.
Still what she's saying is that there's still a litmus test of journalism that you have to pass. You can't come on TV and just make up things and say things. That happens on X. Please don't give me the eyebrow furrow as if you don't know what I'm talking about. It happens often on X. I can go and say the color is blue and I will be met with so many disrespectful remarks. No one's regulating the N-word. No one's regulating the criticism. No one is regulating how people are treated.
How much government regulation of the First Amendment are you for?
Let me tell you something. If I came on here and I just started calling you all kind of names, do you think the bosses would let me continue to do that?
I mean, it happens to me occasionally. I don't know if you watch
it doesn't happen to you, but
Classic Scott Jennings. Okay, let's go back to the guy with the bald head. I mean, he's saying that Trump called veterans suckers and losers. And they claim he has his whole life hating veterans and stuff like that. And they are saying that he wouldn't even give the families of 13 service members the time of the day. I mean, it's really intense. It's really intense, right? It seems like they are just making a pretty big leap to try to just paint him as some kind of an anti-veteran, despite statistics and poll saying otherwise. You can really see the people at CNN here. The panel is really getting worked up. One of them even, curses live on air. I don't understand. If it's on their side, it's cool. If it's on the right, well, you'll be banned. Then they talked about the tariff. Unbelievable. They are talking about, Trump putting 25% tariff on Mexico, and the idea of a potential military war with Mexico. Like, they are worried about the military incursion to take out drug factories or some kind of invasion. It just sounds like they think Trump is crazy, right? All these gibberish things they are saying, it's like they think Trump is crazy for considering such actions. But then again, the other side of the argument notes that Scott notes that Mexico eventually agreed to work with the U.S. to control their borders, which is just natural. Security for thee, security for me, and we are happy. That's life, right? Then let's come to this lady where Scott had to just checkmate her. CNN as a whole talking about censorship, but doesn't know, or they don't seem to know who regulates the cable versus social media. It's like they want censorship, but they are also confused about how it all works. They're saying platforms aren't regulated right now, which gives them carte blanche to do whatever they want. And they are talking about Elon Musk and how he might be regulated after buying MSNBC. But then they don't even realize CNN is not broadcast and is regulated differently. One of the panelists makes a point about how you can't come on TV and just make things up. But it seems to happen often on X, as she says. Meanwhile, they are doing the same in CNN, right? On that panel, they are just making things up. So it's almost like they are saying they need or there needs to be more regulation of free speech for the other side, in my personal opinion. Yeah, they want it for the other side, but not for them.
There are 1.3 to 1.6 million illegal immigrants in this country today who have already received deportation orders from a court. You can start there. There's another population, as Mark said, that have either committed violent crimes in the United States or committed violent crimes where they came from. You can also do that. That has nothing to do with the people in your neighborhood, has nothing to do with the person in your office, and has nothing to do with whatever the hell you're talking about. It has to do with getting people out of the country who do not belong.
How are you going to deploy the military? Give me how exactly you would deploy an active duty military unit to respond to this crisis.
I would use the military in conjunction with local officials,
what does that look
local
like?
law enforcement, county sheriffs, people who know their communities, because I assume a lot of the local sheriffs and jailers are going to be the people who end up housing some of these folks before they are deported. But there has
what's
to be
the task
some
and purpose? What's the mission for that young private? What is he actually going to be tasked to do? Guard a gate, or is he going to be investigating?
I don't know. I wasn't elected.
But you're sitting here on CNN saying we should do it. I think you should think out a little bit more about what they actually should be required to do.
Do not belong.
It sounds real good.
One at a time. Scott, quickly.
There are millions of people who came into the country illegally, who have already received deportation orders, or who have committed some other crime while they've been here. The fact that you want to leave them in place is mind-boggling.
That is not what I said. That is not what I said.
Yes, we need Greenland. Greenland is an amazing thing to have. It's like, you ever play Monopoly? Like the first row of properties, you're like, they're cheap. Maybe I don't need. You need those. Those are vital properties. I am for Greenland. I wanted him to do it before. I want him to do it now. And I am personally and on television applying to be the military governor of Greenland if, in fact, we do take control of it. This is an amazing idea, and I know everybody's laughing about it, but if he accomplishes this in 4 years, it'll be a great legacy piece for Donald Trump. I know your favorite pastime is to come out here and talk over me, but just please.
I care about the facts. I care about the facts.
The reality is, if you talk to anybody in the energy business, if you talk to anybody,
he says things that are wrong.
Well,
and I interrupt him because our job is to inform our audience.
I'll just wait.
Hang on one second.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
Finish
No.
your point.
Look, I play this game every time we come out here. The legitimate answer is, He's going to do stuff on energy. He's going to take regulatory shackles off of the energy producers. If you talk to anybody in the energy business who produces, refines, deals with pipelines, this administration, Democrats in Congress, have put shackles on what they can do.
Why is energy production at a record high?
If you take the shackles off, the prices will go down.
No,
it should help.
I guess what I'm wondering is why won't you answer the point that she's making, which is that if it's so bad, why is energy production
I didn't dispute it.
Higher than it was under Trump? And on top of that, Trump was asked a very simple question. If you promised the American people that you'd bring prices down and then you failed to do that, is that not a problem? Is that something that the American people will judge him on?
If he brings energy prices down, and if he extends the tax cuts, and he generally implements an economic climate in which incomes can rise and certain things do come down, and he tells the American people the truth about what he's doing the entire time, I think it will be okay.
Okay, we have quite a lot to unpack here. They were saying that Trump will use the military to round up people, but no, there are already 1.3 to 1.6 million people, illegal immigrants to be precise, with deportation orders. Yeah, they are ready to go. And it's also important to note that the panelists, remember, they argued that there are other populations of people, such as those who committed violent crimes, who could also be deported. It seems they were concerned about those who committed crimes being deported. It's unbelievable. Wow. America, only in America, like Don King usually says. Then they go into a debate about how the military would be deployed in the United States for this purpose and whether they will be investigating the whole situation. The military does not investigate, and they don't deploy them in the country, in the homeland. It's only abroad. So, the whole narrative is just to, make sure that they bring up the military to take over things in America. Then they can prove their points that Trump is a dictator and is using the military to oppress people. That's the whole narrative. So everything, they're just bringing up the military. So you remember when Scott Jennings said that I want Donald Trump to get Greenland. To me, sarcastically, but they didn't get it. They didn't get it, in my personal opinion. Or maybe he's serious about this. Maybe he's serious. But come on, if he went further to say that he will run for political office in the new territory, then that should confirm that it's just making fun of it. But this bunch in CNN, they don't get it. They don't get when someone is really trying to be just clowning them. But, well, yeah, the debate finally got heated, and the panelists, they cut off Scott Jennings when he tried to bring up the fact that or discuss how Trump will be taking regulatory shackles off the energy industry. That is facts, and it's plain facts, and it's plain English. Everyone can understand that. But as soon as they realize, he's really speaking facts here on Trump's energy policy, they cut him off. Remember, Scott argues that if Trump creates the right economic climate, prices will go down. And I believe that. Yeah, it's the Christmas holiday, and I hope you're having a happy holidays. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. This is Black Coffee. Cheers.